What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It is update time. This is our last one of the regular season, and we've got a lot to cover. So let's just dive into it. Now, I will say that the diamond market is a little bit tapped out right now. So I'm going to try to give you one that does still have some room, but he is a bit of a long shot. And I'm going to have some 84s that you can also invest in. And it looks like all of them, well, a couple are actually on the cusp, but the majority of them are gearing toward the playoffs or could make the playoffs. And there will be one roster update after the postseason. So if you update in these, invest in these 84s and they don't go up this week, you still have October to work with. So maybe you don't have to sell them off right away. But let's go ahead and start from the bottom as we always do. Talk about some commons that I think are going to go up. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm going to go by team, of course, and find them. Two guys on Tampa Bay that I thought deserved upgrades last week. John Curtis and Aaron Slegers. Now, again, these are not really money makers unless you have the patience to put in a lot of sell orders and get your, I mean, you basically get 70 stubs per on this if you really wanted to do it. But for me, I've got Curtis going up to a 65 with as well as he's pitched. This is all about Team Affinity exchanges for me. So, you see I've got 46 right now, and I usually have 5, 6, 7 orders of him going at any moment, trying to make sure that I get those. The only reason I don't do like 10, 20 orders at a time is in case I get one stubbed, I don't want to have to delete all of them. So I do 5, 6, let them go through, do 5, 6 more, and so on and so on. And so even if other people get in, I mean, I'll pay upwards of 12, 15 here because I really do think he's going to go up pretty high and probably to a bronze when he does get upgraded. He's been fantastic this year. Same with Slegers, who's right here. I actually put him at a 64, and I put Curtis at a 65. I mean, they're both going to go up quite a bit, and they're both going to be worth it. Let me see where Slegers' stats are real quick. Yeah, he's not quite as good. That's why I do have him a little bit lower than Curtis. But his hit 9 is at 5.5, his walk rate's 2.0, and his strikeout rate's 7.0. So all three of his metrics deserve an upgrade. Curtis has been quite a bit better, and that's why I do have him jumping from the lower level, 49, compared to Slegers' 51, all the way up to a bronze. He's striking out guys in an 8.5 clip, 1.2 walk rate, and 6.9 very nice hit rate. So both deserve big upgrades, and hopefully they get them because those are some affinity boosts. Another guy, I've talked about him multiple times. I don't understand why he's getting no love. What did Rafael Montero do to just be ignored as he continues to dominate? And as you can see here, just from the inside edge of 10 points in hits and Ks, gets him up to a 64. So honestly, I may be selling him short at a 67. He may be able to get even higher than that. Now you see his K rate is at a very nice 69 because he did start striking out some guys last year. But I mean, he was at 10.6 last year. He's at 9.8 this year. That needs to be in the mid to high 70s, I would think. Hit rate, he's at 6.1. He was at 7.1 last year. So again, why did he come in? Well, let me backtrack. He came in so low because it doesn't just go off of last year. It also counts his 16 and 17 because he missed 18 with injury. So when you look at his 16 and 17, they were very bad. But now we're 2 years into him as a full-time, unquestioned reliever, and he's been awesome. So I think, and 3.1 walks, I think even that needs to be upgraded. I think we see big jumps here for Rafael Montero. Another comment I have going big is also in the AL West, and that is Mike Myers. And as you can see, community's a little bit in on it, pushing him up from the single digits up to 23. That's because he needs a really, really, really big boost. And I could see him going high bronze at this point with as well as he's pitched. 12.7 strikeouts, 2.4 walks, 4.9 hit rate. It is just this year, but it is 30 innings. So we're starting to get a little something of a sample. And he's just been awesome. And with as aggressive as they're being this year, you should be aggressive on a guy like this. And this is not going to fundamentally change the game if you make him a 70, which, he's pretty much pitched like he deserves. I put him up to a 68. Moving over to St. Louis real quick here, we have Daniel Poncedeleon, and he's just been striking out the world lately, and I think that's going to be the driver on his upgrade. As you can see here, he's already a 66. So there's not going to be a ton of movement. I got a 70 on him, maybe 71, 72 at the high end. But even that 71 strikeout rate right now is too low. So I do have him getting a boost. Another common that I really like, and the last one that we have here, is a starter named JT Brubaker, who you may not be all that familiar with. Dude's been awesome. He's been really, really good for the Pirates. You know, they haven't had many bright spots this year. They are the worst team in the league by record and really by overall talent. 4.46 ERA doesn't jump off the page like amazing, but 9.6 strikeouts, 3.2 walks, 8.7 hit rate. He's just been pitching very well. Had another great outing last time out against the Cubs. Before that, it was against Cincinnati. The reason his ERA is so high, he got blasted for 7 runs against the White Sox. No real shame in getting blasted by them. But before that, 1, 2, 2, and 3 earned runs in his starts before that. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of good from Brubaker. I think it's time that he gets a nice big boost. I think the K rate and walk rate need to get the biggest boosts, and then maybe a little love to his hit rate. Another guy he's going tonight, but this will not count into Friday's update. Christian Javier, obviously he started the year, kind of came on the scene. I didn't really know too much about him. I knew his prospect name and actually learned a little bit more about him because of his prospect card in MLB The Show. And all he's done is continue to pitch well. I felt like Framber Valdez, they took a while to upgrade him, and I think they've done the same here with Christian Javier, and I think it's time to really push him up. 8.9 Ks, 3.1 walks, and 5.7 hits. You see 10 points in each of the hits and Ks gets him up to a 72. He may not get 10 points on his K rate because it's already at 64, and it probably, 8.9 Ks is pretty good. I think maybe like a 71, 72 on that, but the BB9 needs to go up into the high 50s, low 60s, and the hit rate should probably go into the low 70s. So I think we're talking something pushing a silver, although I only put him at a 73 right now. Another guy who is a little bit off the radar, but who's just been pitching well, as if they need more pitching to just kind of come out of nowhere and do well. Oh, Mookie with the new card art. I forgot all the new card art happened. That one's new too, right? Oh, I'm going to have to go through these. Oh, Will Smith's. I like that. So this is weird that Tony Gonsolin's isn't updated because I think I've shown this before on a YouTube video. Definitely stream, if not YouTube, where he's got a different card art. It's an action shot on the website, but then here he just has the profile photo. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But anyway, Victor Gonzalez is who I want to talk about here real quick. I've got him going up to a 73. He's been awesome for them. Nice little lefty. Really, we're only investing here for affinity upgrades as well. I got him, I guess I go up 73. That'd be a nice little 5-point boost. And even if they give him nice boosts into the 70s, I'm not sure that he's necessarily like BR useful with only 4-seam and slider, even as a lefty. But I did want to highlight him because he's been very good. Next up is Cabrisi, man. I talked about the Pirates having a rough season. They've had more than one bright spot, and Cabrian Hayes coming up and dominating off rip has definitely been one of them. I got him going up to a 74, and frankly, he may just go silver. So if you want to jump in now and plan for that, I think you should, because you can still get in and get plenty of shares below silver price and exchange him in for the affinity, because I think his price would go up a bit if he does in fact get to 75. Next up, out back to the Angels, we have catcher Max Stassi, who's been awesome this year. And he was out for a little while, but he's come back, and right off rip, he comes back and has a 2-homer game. Just says, hey, did you forget about me? I've got 7 homers on the year now, 293, 371, 561 slash line. He's been awesome. Actually, wait. Why did I say? Oh, yeah. Okay, he was injured. I thought I was tripping there. He came back on September 6th after missing 15 days. And since then, he's hitting 1044 OPS, 351 batting average, and 3 homers. I mean, I think there's a silver potential here. I think I put him at a 74. Yeah, I did. I was a little bit conservative with it because, he did miss some time. But when you look at what he's done this year, his big boost coming versus lefties, and still a solid boost against righties, 279 batting average and a 442 slug. I think that deserves upgrades for both of those. He's already got silver defense, so I think the silver potential for Max Stassi does exist, and you can get a bunch here in the 30s and 40s of the price range there. Now getting into some new silvers, let's go back out to LA and talk about Dustin May, the gift master. If you follow Pitching Ninja, he's got him on the gifts every 5th day with what he's been able to do. And here's the thing, Dustin May, I know that the thing that people ask whenever they watch him pitch, and then they look at his stats, is why doesn't he have more strikeouts? You see how nasty he is. You see the Pitching Ninja gifts, and you're like, what am I missing here? What is it? It's because a 2-seamer / sinker, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it kind of does both. Two-seamer has a little bit more of that run side to side, and the sinker obviously sinks down. But either way, it's a disgusting pitch that he gets a ton of movement on, kind of vacillates between sinker and two-seamer. Thankfully for MLB purposes, they gave him a sinker. But that's not a strikeout pitch. That's not a swing and miss pitch. If anything, it's a weak contact pitch. Or in the cases of a lot of the pitches that we've seen on Pitching Ninja, it's a take pitch. And sometimes it can dart back and still catch part of the zone and be a strike so it's a called strike pitch. But sometimes it's kind of easy to lay off because it is so nasty in its movement. So I think that's why we don't see as many strikeouts from him. That said, 7.4 hit rate and 2.4 walk rate, those deserve big boosts. And it won't take much to get him to silver. So I think it's time to boost him up into the silver tier. Let's go out to New York for another starter. Other end of the age spectrum, to be sure. Uh-oh, Garrett Cole got a boost. Oh, clean-shaven Garrett Cole. Let's see, anybody else here? That looks new. That looks new too, but I might be wrong. I might just be looking for new stuff. Ooh, that Clint Frazier one's nice. Clint Frazier, by the way, I'm going to spoil it. I don't have him on the gold upgrade, and I know that the market's pretty keen on him. He hasn't done anything since the last update. When he got the big boost, he got the defensive boost. You're welcome. And I don't know that there's anything else to really go off of. I mean, unless they're not caught up and they want to boost him against lefties and get him to gold. But otherwise, in the last week, he's done nothing to earn it. I'll say that. But anyway, J-Haps, who we came to talk about, and getting him into silver, he's closing brilliantly for them to the point where I don't think he's going to end up being a starter for them. The first series is only 3 games, so they definitely won't need him for that. But I don't even know if they're going to look at him as a starter for the extended playoffs, for the 7-game rounds of the playoffs, if they make it that far. But he has been awesome lately. You look at his last 3 starts, he has 24 strikeouts, 2 walks, and just 13 hits in 19 and the third innings of work. So it's not going to take much. I think a little love to all 3 of his metrics, primarily with the hit rate getting the biggest boost, and boom, he's going to be at silver. Shouldn't be too difficult for J-Hap. Moving over to Drew Smyly of the Giants. He's also somebody who's just lately been kind of killing it. His strikeouts have been off the charts lately, and I think that's where he's going to get his biggest boost, even though he's already got a 78, which is really nice. But he's at a 13.5 mark for his strikeouts this year, and 7.2 on the hits, 3.4 on the walks. The walks might not get anything, but the hit and Ks, I think, will be enough to actually get him to silver. I've actually got him going up to a 76 because I think that K9 should go into the high 80s, and the hit 9 should go into the high 70s, low 80s. Next up, he means business, folks. That's John means business to you. And he has finally gotten it going. That's a new card art for him, too. Fairly certain of that. Now, you look at a 5.02 ERA, and you're like, this guy hasn't been doing anything. That's the thing, though. ERA is not on the card. That doesn't matter. You have to look at the core skills. And you want to look at what he's done recently, too. By the way, he has a 109 whip. And usually when you look at the two things, ERA and whip together, if they don't match, you can kind of figure out which is a little bit more off kilter. When I see a 108 whip, or a 109 whip with everything that he's done this year, with his skill improvements, with his arsenal improvements, I think the ERA is the one that's off, meaning he's been a little bit unlucky with his ERA up at 5.02. And he went through a lull there in August when things just weren't really going his way, and started on July 30th with his first outing. And through his first 4 starts, he had a 10.13 ERA. Over the course of the next 5, he has a 3 flat with 25 strikeouts, 4 walks, 23 hits in 27 innings. And then you isolate the last 3 starts against the Mets and Yankees, both on the road, and then the Rays at home. He's got 21 strikeouts, 2 walks, 11 hits in 17 and 2/3. This feels like an easy silver to me. John Means definitely somebody to invest in. And the next one, our last new silver, is a big-time rookie who's been quietly killing it, even though he's on a team that had some expectations this year, but it looks like they're going to miss the playoffs unless some real fortunate stuff happens for them. But Alec Baum, he's not the reason, that's for sure. He's been absolutely killing it. He has an 884 OPS on the season, 333 batting average, 4 homers. And he's just been really good, especially lately. If you look at his last 2 weeks, he has a 1053 OPS with a 393 average. His last week, 1127 OPS with a 429 average. And I think if you're looking, his splits are pretty even. So I think he can get boosts against righties and lefties. And he only needs 1 point. So silver seems easy for him. The only problem is it's not super investable because he was a late card. So he had that price spike where he was a rare card. So you see he's already 500/222. So you can't really invest too much in it. But if you have some of him already, you should hang on and see where the price goes after he goes silver. Couple of silver to silver guys who are definitely on that gold cusp, so keep an eye on them and maybe invest now. One's going to the playoffs for sure. The other may well go. Look at that new Freddie Freeman card art. That is fantastic. You love to see that. Oh, I wish Chris Martin could have got one. I like him. Is that Albies one new? Or am I tripping? That looks new. Ooh, that Max Fried one's definitely new. Look at that. Look at that jersey. Anyway, Travis Darno is who I'm talking about. That's new. He used to be leaning over the railing with his. So he's got another one. He's got a new one with him hitting. And he is hitting this year. And I've got him going up to a 79. So I have him right there for gold, which means, you know, if you like him, go ahead and invest now, because if I'm wrong on the high side, on the low side where I'm too low, then he's going gold this time. And let's see here. Let's get a little indication. So it takes plus 12s against righties to get him to 80 right now, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's going to be more. Here's the thing. This is why this actually highlights perfectly why I don't have him going gold just yet. He has a 352 batting average and 631 slugging against righties. That's fantastic. So he should get a boost. I don't think it's going to be 12 points against each for each the contact and the power though. And against lefties, he may get a downgrade. He's hitting 235 with a 235 batting average and a 235 slug. He's 8 for 34 with 8 singles. So I think any upgrades against righties is going to be negated by a downgrade against lefties. That's why I have him at a 79. Now he might be a good playoff investment, because if he sits on that 79 and does something in the playoffs, particularly against lefties, then he could get that final point with a good October performance. But I'm being careful here. I would not go for him as a certified gold this week. Now, this one, next one, staying in the East, they may make the playoffs, and he may well get gold this week. And I'm keeping my shares of Brian Anderson without a doubt, because I really like what he's doing, and he is actually hitting pretty well lately with the power. He's got 4 homers in the last 7 days, but he's only hitting 242, so it's a little give and take there. Can the power get boosted against both sides and get us enough to get 2 points? I hope so. And he is hitting 314 against lefties, so maybe that 70 contact needs to be boosted. He's only hitting 250 against righties, though, so definitely no contact boost against righties. He's right there on the cusp, y'all. I would, if they allowed like decimals, I would say he's like 79.5. I'm so close on him right now. I've been invested most of the year. I divested for a while and I got right back in. I've got 41 of them that are sellable right now, and I'm actually probably going to get another handful while he's still under 500 because I do think he could get there, but I did put him at 79 on my sheet. He's hit 2 homers since then. I put out my sheet a couple days before I do the video so I can have some time for my Twitch subscribers to go ahead and invest before I put everything out on the web. And I don't even put everything out. I put out half the list usually. I put 30 names for you guys here after putting out 59 names on the sheet. It was a little bit of a light week finding candidates, though. 59 is one of my lower numbers for the season. This one is not investable because his price has come way down. Wow, okay. When I put the list out, he was at 1,800/1,000. So there was no way to invest in Jared Walsh. Now you could actually get in, and I think it might be worth doing it. Now, he is just a 75, and his card came out last week. It would be very aggressive to go gold, but consider what he's done this year. He's hitting 291, 319, 640. He has been absolutely killing it this year, and he's doing his work against both sides of the plate. He's really, really, really crushing righties. So that 78 and 76 could go, well, actually, just the 76. I don't think that the contact against righties needs to go up. At 281, that's good. But that's a 78. Sorry, I hit the mic there. That's a 78 contact. Like, that's fine. But the 719 slug, that needs to be in the high 80s, I think, for his power. 321, 300, 500 against lefties. Yes, his OBP is lower than his batting average against lefties because of a couple sacrifice flies. So I think the contact will go up. The power might. He has 9 hits, 3 of them are for extra bases. I say put him in like a 68 to like a 66 to 69, which would be nice for his power against lefties. But then the contact against lefties probably needs to go up to about 70 something. So something moving his contact to the 70s, his power against righties into the high 80s, and his power against lefties into the mid to high 60s. Is that enough? I don't know the answer to that. Let me take a look real quick at his plate profile to see if we can get some vision and or discipline upgrades. His discipline, nope. He has a 4% walk rate. Like, that's not going to do it. But his vision is where we can get the boost. 14% strikeout rate. So that's why I liked him for gold. Okay, I was trying to figure out, I do the upgrades. I don't have notes on the sheet, though, and I was trying to, reverse engineer it. Like, why did I have him going 5 points? That's where he's going to get a nice, healthy boost. 13% strikeout rate is fantastic, and that will fuel the gold here if indeed he does get it. Excuse me. This is last chance saloon, though, because they're not going to the playoffs. Our next new gold is back out with the Dodgers. Now, do the Dodgers need another gold? I mean, in this one, they picked up off the scrap heap and turned him into a stud, or turned him back into a stud, I should say, because Jacob McGehee already was a stud for a long time. That's why he has that Diamond Prime card in the game. But he's back to beasting. Since his 9-11 upgrade, he has 14.7 strikeouts, 0 walks, 6.3 hits. I know that 18 and 19 were disasters, but he's very clearly not that guy anymore. So I think upgrading him back into gold and understanding that we've seen him revert back into the guy he once was makes sense here. And I just want to see if he's pitched. If he pitched yesterday, because then those numbers would be a little bit outdated. He did indeed pitch 2 days ago, so I think my numbers are still accurate. Did I say 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3? That would be, 14.7 strikeouts. So everything was accurate to what I just read you off for those numbers. I did take notes on the golds going up to. I did find my notes there. I didn't have to reverse engineer the Jared Walsh thing. I actually found that I do have a doc where I put up gold notes for everybody and for the diamond guys. But I don't do it for silvers and bronzes because usually they're kind of more obvious. But a lot of the golds this week are kind of fringe, and you have to kind of outline the case. Like, they're not guarantees here. Speaking of, let's go to our next guy here, and it is Drew Rosenthal, who's had a fantastic year, but he's not exactly obvious yet. So I don't know if he's going to get the full point just yet, but I think he should, and I'll tell you why. He did just get boosted last time out. But the reason I think the +1 is there is because I think the hits per 9 is still too low, and so is the walk rate. He's at 5.0 on the season for his hits per 9, so I think that should go up into the high 80s. And then his walk rate since joining the Padres is just 1.1. Now, he hasn't been with the Padres that long. Remember, the trade deadline was late August, so we're not talking about a massive sample. But I think we can get that up into the mid to high 50s, and with a little bit of hit rate boost, I think that's enough to do it here. And I will say that while I did not mention anything about the strikeout rate for Rosenthal, that doesn't mean that there is no potential upgrade there. I mean, he is striking out 13.7 on the year. That could go over 100, but I think leaving it at 100 is fair. I think the hit rate and the walk rate is where we could get some love for Trevor Rosenthal. Next potential gold here is another one that you got to make a little bit of a case for, but I think it's there. And we're going to go out to Houston, talk about rookie Kyle Tucker. He got a new card art as well. Now, this is very telling that you can see he gets +13s here against righties and still doesn't get there. That's why this one's going to be tough, and maybe he should have been one of the 79s. But I did say big gains versus righties should offset any drop in contact versus lefty, because he might get a little contact there, plus a vision jump, because he has a strikeout rate of just 16% in his last 32 games and 22% on the year. So he might lose a little bit of contact against lefty. If he gets these +13s here against righties, that only moves him to a 79. Take it down a little bit, because move his contact versus lefty to like 67, but then put his vision up to 63. that's probably right there for the potential gold. And so I think we're going to have to see where he may be. Now, if you invest in him and he doesn't go gold, he goes to a 79 instead, hang on, because they're going to the playoffs. And we'll have to see what happens there with regards to getting him upgraded via October. But I really do like Kyle Tucker. You can see here, I've got 39 of them. So it's a pretty big investment for me. Let's go back out west, or stay out west, I should say. Well, Houston's not really west, but they're in the Western Division. But let's go out to the actual west and talk about Kevin Gausman, who did get an updated card art, and I like it. It looks nice. Now, he's only had one start since his last boost. Outside of, I think he pitched today, which won't count, but I just want to see. He had another gem today. 6 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 8 hits. Hits were a little bit high, but the strikeouts and walks are fantastic. So I will say that. By the way, I wonder, and I didn't even think about this, say for a guy like this, say he only goes to 79, would this start be counted for the playoff update, for the one after the playoffs? Or is it just playoff stuff? I feel like they would want to count the stuff that they missed from Thursday through Sunday of the regular season too. So keep that in mind. But I think he gets there. I really do. I think that this is one of my stronger golds. Because I see some catch up for him in his hits per 9. I think it should go into the low 70s. His walk rate as well is only at 68. He's been under 3.0 for the last 3 years. So why isn't he in the mid 70s? I feel like he should be there. And his strikeout rate. He's at 10.6 since the start of last year. Shouldn't that be about 4 or 5 points higher? So I think Gausman gets there. I really do like him. You see here, plus 4s gets him to 78. So that's 1 point. But then if you talk about, so that's the K rate at 78, that works for me. But if you talk about moving the hit rate into the low 70s, that would be another, let's see, this is 63. That'd be another 7 to 10 points. And then the BB9 to the mid 70s as well. That should be worth 2 points from the 78 that we see here on the inside edge. So here's hoping. But I do feel pretty good about this one. I'm definitely getting my Kevin Gausman shares in order. All right, and then let me see. Do you want one more gold? Should I do one more gold for y'all? I will. I'll do it. I'll make an adjustment here on the fly. Instead of giving you guys a bunch of 84s that you might not be able to do anything with, I'll go for another gold, and I will talk about another Western starter in Andrew Heaney. Now, Heendog is pitching quite well this year. He has 2 more great starts since his September 11th upgrade, leaving him at a 10.5 K, 0.65 BB9, so that could be a big boost there, and 9.2 hits 9 in 13.7 innings, so that's 13 and 2/3. So I think small upgrades in his hits, Ks, and BB should be good for the +2 that we need here. I think the BB9 is where we're going to see the biggest potential upgrade because of how little he's walking guys of late. And he's at 2.4 for the year. He was at 2.8 and 2.3 the 2 years before that. So 62 feels too low in general. So it might actually be a big upgrade for BB9 and then small on the hit and Ks. And that's what's going to get him to the 80 that we need for Andrew Heaney to go gold. All right, now a group of guys that I've got only going to 84. So they may not be ready for Diamond, but they're also likely to go to the playoffs. Let's start with a team that is on the cusp. So they might not go. This could be the last chance saloon for the Brewers if they don't go. Ooh, Josh Hader got new art. I wish Devin had gotten new art. Ooh, Kane, I like that one. Avi, Pena. Jerkstore should get some new art. He's killing it this year. All right, sorry. Anyway, Devin Williams is one of them for sure, of course. Now, listen. Oh, wait. I'm a moron. I have Devin Williams going to Diamond. Sick. Spoiled that. All right, I'm going to talk about Burns first. Corbin Burns. I got him going to an 84. I got him getting 2 points, going up to 84. Dude's been absolutely filthy, and he just keeps putting up good start after good start. And that's the thing. It's like, yes, it's only 1 year. Like, he was pretty bad last year. But he leads baseball with a 5.0 hits per 9. He has a 13.3 strikeout rate and even 3.5 walks. 3.5 walks is not an elite rate, but it's better than a 45. Like, that should at least be in the low 60s if I know the metrics properly. And he put up 6 more shutout innings just on Saturday, which was after the upgrade. And then he goes again tonight, which won't count for this current upgrade, but he'll probably deal. He faces the Cardinals, who he struck out 10 of the last time he went out. But yeah, he's just been absolutely on fire of late. And while they did give him a nice healthy boost up to 82, I think he's going to be right on the cusp there. 2 more points, goes up to 84. And then also Brandon Woodruff should be right there on the cusp. And if they go to the playoffs, then he and Burns could be, those two and the bullpen could carry them, and they could actually go deep into the playoffs. But 11.1 strikeouts, 2.3 walks, and 7.3 hits per 9. Not massive upgrades here, but just little trickles of each. That's why I got him going to 84 and not quite going to diamond just yet. But if you look at what he's been doing just in this month, he has 33 strikeouts, 5 walks, and 16 hits allowed in 24 innings. So that's going to be a 12.4 strikeout rate, a 1.9 walk rate, and then 6 hits per 9. Those are all fantastic. So I think it's good for at least one more point, putting him on that diamond cusp. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Devin Williams, since I already spoiled that I have him going to diamond. We're going to go a little out of order. Then I'll get to 2 more 84s for you guys. But I do have Devin Williams going. Now, I know this is super aggressive because they don't usually give relievers this much love. But it's a different kind of season that we're dealing with. And I think he deserves it given just how excellent he's been. And we were talking about this in my stream, and I was like, we're going to need several outings between the upgrade and now, last week's upgrade and now, to get him there. Now, let's see. The upgrade was on Friday, which means it locked on Wednesday. I doubt his September 16th outing. I should say I bet his September 16th outing did count in the last upgrade. However, we got 2 2-inning outings. So that's 4 innings with 0 hits, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Now, I understand that 4 innings is not a lot, but for a reliever, that's a big deal. I mean, just look at what he's done this year. It's 16% of his total season since the last update, and it's 9 more strikeouts. I mean, he's out of his mind, y'all. 18.7 strikeouts, 3.2 walks, 2.2 hits. That's right, his walk rate is higher than his hit rate. I know these are both above 100, but I think they need to go higher. And his walk rate, being at 3.2, is hardly bad. I think that should be high 50s, low 60s. So I have him going diamond. It's an aggressive move. Another reason I have him going diamond, though, is that I think his clutch needs to go up. And I sent them a list of guys, of a bunch of pitchers whose clutch rating should get a look. Now, the clutch rating, from what I understand, does not move the overall that much. So even if it goes up to like a 90 clutch rating, like they could double it, I still don't think it would move it like 2 points on its own. But it definitely needs to go up from a 45. And the reason that I sent this over is because a lot of the relievers need upgrades, and it makes them much more usable. Clutch rating is tied to runners in scoring position, OPS. And what it's tied to in MLB The Show is that when you have runners in scoring position, how does the confidence get affected for a pitcher? You know, if you're using Devin Williams and BR and you give up 1 double on the first batter, which, you know, would suck considering how good he is, but let's just say they have a left-hander and they flick it down the left field line for that cheap double because you're in a shift. Well, all of a sudden he's going to have a runner in scoring position. His confidence is going to be rattled. Because let's say you used 4 pitches that inning, and we know that like 4 pitches in BR for a reliever means that they're basically dead. And so I think we need that clutch back to counterbalance that, so that at least he's not that rattled. And you could do a mound visit to kind of calm him down and actually maybe get out of the inning and get out of the trouble with him. So I'm thinking with the little upgrades that he deserves on the hits, Ks, decent upgrade on the BB9, and a clutch upgrade, that's going to get Devin Williams to diamond. Now, back to a couple 84s here. First one. I know a lot of y'all think he's going diamond. I just don't see it yet. It is closer than I thought, though. And here's the thing. Whoa. Jose Abreu, is that new art? It took a second to load, so is that new art? This should be the same art until he leaves the White Sox, that's for sure. But Tim Anderson is who I'm talking about, and I will say the market has cooled on him, and that's why I originally said I know y'all think he's going to go. But now that the market's down here, I'll say, okay, the market has kind of chilled out. But the one thing I kept saying when people ask, is he going to go diamond? Is he going to go diamond? Is he going to go diamond? Not without a power surge against righties. And I will say he's done his best to try to enact that power surge. He's got a few homers against them very recently. Now, even with that, though, he has a 113 ISO against righties. That's just your slugging minus your batting average. That isolates your power. He has 43 hits, but only 8 of them have gone for extra bases. And you can see here that he gets plus 14s against righties, and it gets him to 85. He's not getting plus 14s, y'all. Like, I'm not even sure that he will get much of a power upgrade, and he's hitting 305 against them. Is that worth more than a 93? So I'm not even sure that he's going to get that much love, but I do have him going up to an 84 because I do think that even though he's at 120/92, I think his numbers versus lefties do need to go up because he's just out of his mind against them. I think his power needs to be over 100 against lefties. Let me take a look at something real quick here that I didn't plan on, so I'm going to need a quick second to look this up. I want to isolate his recent work and see what he's done against righties in these last 2 weeks when he's had a little bit of a power surge against them. So let me go since September 10th. And against righties, he has a 313 average and a 188 ISO. So yeah, like I said, he's been hitting for more power. So they can give him a power upgrade there. I'm fine with that. And that's why I've got him at an 84. Because I think there is a power upgrade to be had there. But I can't get him to an 85 on this, y'all. He's going to have to go off power-wise against righties in the playoffs to get diamond. So if you already have some, that's fine. And if you want to invest now, like he was trending in over 3,000 for a while. And I had 15 shares and I sold them all off very confidently. And then I think the day after that, he had a 2-homer game against righties. And I was like, oh no, did I make a big mistake? No. Turns out everything's calmed back down. And I just don't see the diamond upgrade yet. And he might only go to 83 to be quite honest. But the bottom line is I don't have him at diamond. Now this next guy, I've got him going to an 84. And he may well go to diamond. But the problem is, the reason I don't quite have Ozzie Albies there is because any gains that he gets against righties could be counterbalanced against losses for lefties. As you know, he's always been known as a guy who crushes lefties and kind of struggles / at times holds his own against righties. Well, he is on a surge against righties this year. He's hitting 333 against them with a 627 slug. That's fantastic. That merits a big boost. But against lefties, he's hitting 200, 231, 240. Now, it's only in 26 plate appearances, so I don't think they should decimate him. I don't think they should flip, where he has a 109.73 against righties and a 61.52 against lefties. I think that would be what we call an overreaction. But I do think that the contact has to come down out of the 100s against lefties, and the power dips down into the low 60s. So he should get a healthy boost against righties, but it will be counterbalanced with the losses against lefties, leaving him at an 84 with the playoffs on deck. So I love Ozzie Albies. He's one of my absolute favorite players. I just don't see diamond yet. But between the two, Tim Anderson and Ozzie Albies, I think Albies has the better shot right now. But don't invest in either thinking that diamond's a guarantee. All right, now speaking of diamonds, I gave you one. Now, I only did 2 diamonds this week, and Devin Williams is really the only investable one. It's because you know what? I'll just talk about all 3 of them just to show you that they're not that investable. So I'm sorry. The market's already keen on Jose Ramirez. I mean, you guys know that the second that he didn't get diamond last upgrade, I told you that he was going to go this week because it didn't count last week's 2-homer game against Detroit. Because it was on Thursday, and I understood that because the upgrade locks on Wednesday. I was like, well, he's going to get it. He's hit 52 billion homers since then. He's so guaranteed it's not even funny. And then the other ones that I have, same division, Byron Buxton I think is going to get there too. There's a little room here. Now, I'm not so confident in him. I will say this, when he was at, when Jose Ramirez, when he was at 4,200, I was still advocating investing in him because it's a guaranteed 800. That's how locked of a diamond he is for me. And even now, if you really just want 300 stubs, I guess you can do it. I mean, you won't even get 300. You'll have to you'll get under 300. So it's probably a waste of time now. But when I felt like I could still get over 500 stubs, I was like, okay, I'll get a couple more shares because he's that freaking locked in. Buxton isn't quite that locked, But man, is he out of his mind right now. I mean, the power is just going off so much that I think he's going to get there this week with the 1-point upgrade, because he's hit another 3 homers just in the last week with a 300 batting average that I think it's going to be too hard to leave him off of there. Now, the contact, neither contact is likely to get a boost. It's all going to come from the power. As far as power versus righties, which has already been boosted, I think it could still go up. He has a 330 ISO against righties. He's tearing the cover off the ball against them. So I think that should go into the low to mid 80s. That alone could do it. Like, that might be all he needs, and then boom, he's there. But just for good measure, I'll point out that he does have a 269 ISO against lefties, which is very nice. And even though it's only in 28 plate appearances, it deserves to be better than a 52. So now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to say, yeah, he's pretty damn near locked too. So if you want kind of a guaranteed 1,000, as this guy does, whoever put in 13 orders, he's saying, you know what, I'll take my 1,000. It's pretty locked. I feel much stronger about it now that I'm actually looking at the numbers here. And then the other one that the market's also pretty keen on is finally you guys have a case. You guys have been begging for this one, and I'm like, it's just not there yet. Stop. Well, he's finally gotten it there yet. Corey Seager is going to be a diamond, and I think he's about as locked in as Ramirez, which, again, if you want 600 plus stubs, I think you could confidently put those orders in. It's a little scary just in case they play coy with it, but I think he's earned it. He's at 311, 364, 574 against lefties, and that's the only reason I'm bringing just that up. I don't even care what he's doing against righties. It's because he's maxed against them, and he's still killing them. We always knew that it was going to come down to what can he do against lefties. Well, he's finally taken off against them, and Corey Seager is going to be back to diamond, as he deserves. And then just one diamond to diamond upgrade. He's been in like every update. He's just that good. And it's Shane Bieber. I think he goes to a 92. And I don't know that there's really any investment on that, but he's just so sick. He's just so sick that, I mean, he's getting damn near the capability where you would want to use him in seasons. Maybe actually he has the 97, so maybe not. Maybe if you really wanted to use him, maybe you just use this one. But I mean, he's just so good. I don't know that a 92 would really skyrocket his price. Although I'll say that stopper might actually be the Road Warrior, day player, and stopper might make him a little bit. I don't know. You know, we're not using 90s and 92 live series starters in ranked seasons, but I do have to highlight him because he deserves to continue to go up and up and up. In fact, let me see this. Let me see live starters. 94, 90, 90, 90. Yeah, I think he needs to be 92 or 93, just behind DeGrom. And then Cole and Bauer right there. I think that makes sense. But I think Bauer needs to Bieber needs to leapfrog and be the number 2 starter in the game right now. By the way, I didn't see Bauer going up like this. This is interesting. We've seen these guys who go into the 90s, and some of them went up, some of them haven't. But it looks like Bauer did. So if you invested cheap, good on you. Anyway, that's the upgrades for this week. Obviously, we're not going to have these videos for a while because of the playoffs. We're not going to have another one until the playoffs. I will do a video where it says, here's the playoff guys to invest in before the playoffs, and then we'll kind of talk about that during the playoffs. I'll talk a lot about it on my Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/Spore. And don't forget, tomorrow, if you're watching this on Thursday, so Friday the 25th, 2 p.m. Central, I'll be live as soon as content goes, and we're going to review the roster update, talk about everything, talk about the new content, the new Run It Back pack, which has Curtis Granderson in it, and I'm so psyched. Listen, I know these are not a ton of, top of the scale end game cards, but A, that's not the point, and B, the way that you get them by running it back, that's where the name comes from, of running back the conquest to get them. They're basically free, grind 99, free 99, if you will. If you have the time, that's all it costs you. And time is money, so it matters. But because they're not coming in some giant pack that costs 50,000, I understand why the cards aren't top of the scale, but there's still some really fun cards there. And Curtis Granderson's my favorite player ever, so I'm very, very happy about that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit a like, drop a subscribe. I got more starting pitcher debuts / breakdowns coming, and I'll have more stuff on the playoff guys to invest in coming soon. Thanks.